Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching The Guest on Gabon 24. Today, we're welcoming our set Dr. JOLLYMET EKOMY. He's an American civilization expert and also a lecturer at some of the biggest universities and schools in Gabon. Hello, how are you doing?
Good, I'm fine.
So today, we're discussing the trial of Donald Trump and its aftermath. First of all, we are going to watch an extract about Donald Trump, who made regular appearances on the trials in which he's accused by the state's Attorney General Letitia James of inflating his wealth by more than $2 billion US. Let us watch.
He issued financial statements showing, that he claimed showed that he was much wealthier than he really is. But in order to constitute fraud, normally someone has to believe the statements are true, rely on them, and be harmed by it. And the trial court said that those requirements for fraud are not applicable in this case under New York Executive Law 6312. All they basically have to do is show that he said something that wasn't true, not that anyone relied on it or that anyone was harmed on it. There hasn't been any evidence that put on before the court that there has been reliance or harm of any kind to anybody else, which to me, I read the statute as allowing the Attorney General to enjoin actions that are going to be using false statements. But to actually recover money or allow the liquidation of the company, I think traditional fraud principles of reliance and causation are going to be necessary. And so I'm a little doubtful about the validity of the judges already ruling that the company is going to be liquidated and their business license revoked on the basis of false statements that haven't been proven to have been relied upon.
Dr. EKOMY, first of all, it's been more than 4 years, or about 4 years, that Trump is not anymore the president of the US, but we are still talking about him. He's still in the headlines. Now he's on trial. Things are happening. How did we reach this point? What happened? And what is Trump accused of? What happened?
Well, actually, first of all, you have to know that the issue of the people in the United States doesn't start with Donald Trump. Secondly, Donald Trump is a public man. He's been a head of state. He's been at the same time a businessman for years, and he's a special man. It happens that in most of his declaration in the past concerning the assets of his company were not true. So investigations have proved that, well, these declarations years before were false. There's some other things. Then he was trialed to justify the issue. But the problem is that you have one group of people who think that he's just being prosecuted for political reasons, which of course is not false. But in the United States, there is a policy that if you ever want to be a public man, you want to run for the highest motion, well, you have to be clean.
Okay.
And this is what happened with him. So there have been many false declarations in what was said about the Trump empire. That is Trump companies and all this stuff. So this is what he's going through. So he's never stopped because he also never stopped speaking.
Yeah, he likes that.
Because he understands, remember, Trump has worked for years on TVs, so he knows the power of image. So he knows the power of image and marketing, and he is always there occupying some space. And do not forget that Trump is running for presidency. He wants to be nominee in his party. And he knows that this starts with communication, and TV is communication. And then you see his behavior has always been, to try to be in front of the scene, defending himself, and sometimes accusing lawyers, attorneys, of trying to keep him away from policy and then organizing these trials and all this stuff. But truth is that most businessmen in the United States would always run, would always be accused of fraud, and sometimes it's revealed to be true. Why? Because this is the spirit of businessmen.
Okay, but I have one question for you, because we know that that is one of many trials that is supposed to go through. This is about his wealth, because he declared that he has $2 billion of assets. But there is another one that is coming about the riots on the Capitol and about many other things. This lady that accused him of rape and many other things. Do you think that is too much, that this can really hinder Donald Trump from running for president in 2020, I think 24?
Well, I've been watching this issue. My weakness in that is that sometimes what we know is based on declaration, sometimes official declaration, or allegation of what we see on TV. The second thing is that some investigations have proved that what people would accuse him of were not wrong.
Yeah.
In politics, we know what happened with the Capitols. He never called for peace. He never called his followers not to do it. And then we remember the strong, striking words that he would use against the winner, accusing the
Joe Biden.
The electoral organization body to have cheated, and that he considered himself as the winner of the election. And then today, he never recognized his weakness. So the states, as long as the United States have existed, that was the first time we witnessed this publicly, throughout the world, that a candidate would be behind riots, would have contradictory speech to what the political establishment always wants, accusing the electoral body of cheating and all the stuff. Because, you know, United States is considered as one of the first democracy in the world. And then hearing
the oldest, I think, right now.
One of the, a head of states saying that, well, I'm not sure the election was transparent, and then time after, he comes back with it because he never recognizes failure. That's one thing. The second thing is Donald Trump, of course, is a billionaire. He's a tycoon. He's indulged in many things in the U.S. in terms of business. And most of the time, it happens that in the U.S. with fiscality is that the higher your revenues are, the higher your fiscal payment are.
Taxes.
So what businessmen would always do is to try to hide truth on what their fortunes are. The second thing is that it's not fault. That many a time that around, let's say, businessmen, that sometimes the state would allegedly create issues, but which some of the time reveals to be true.
But sorry to interrupt you, but we know that all the prosecutors that accused Donald Trump are all Democrat. Because it can be said that this is the Democrat Party that wants to try to, break everything that can be good for Trump, for him to not be able to be president in 2024.
But the former prosecutor were not Democrat. This prosecution didn't start with Democrats. It just happens to be a coherence. Something is normal in the United States is that the ruling party will rule with people they trust. You're being appointed as a judge does not allow you to always take. That's it. So you can be a Democrat and appoint a judge who's going to prosecute you. So it's just a coincidence that those
so
accusing
there is no
him,
witch hunt?
it's not. What has to be considered is that he's not accused by a person. He's accused by justice.
Okay.
And justice is behind him. And this is what it is. And every time, I know even Donald Trump would say that the system is trying to
Yeah, that's what he says.
tearing down.
He even came on trial. He had a T-shirt like, they want to kill me, they want me down. You know, he's doing many things.
That's his populist behavior, and this
Okay.
we all know.
Okay.
Even when he was president, he always had these populist behavior. Remember what happened with the CNN journalist
Yeah. Yeah.
when questioning
During a
him.
press conference.
Of course, that's a Donald Trump. So we're not surprised that we have this behavior. And he's not the only businessman who's been prosecuted in the United States.
Yeah.
So I'm not that surprised.
Okay, so now, only 2 minutes remaining. What are the perspectives? You know, what can be the outcome of all of that?
I think if he's found guilty, he will be sentenced.
What about his campaign?
How about his campaign? Laws will be applied. If he's found guilty, for sure, his election candidacy or he's running for the election and all this stuff will be stopped because this would block him from continuing the process. If he's not found guilty, then...
Because some people say that he can't run from prison. Some people say that.
Let's wait and see. That's not what the American law says.
Okay.
We have to scrutinize them. They're very complex with electoral campaigns and who has the right to run and all the criteria and all this stuff. So it's not just that, well, because you think you're being prosecuted out of political plot or something that, well, if you're found guilty because you said you're not guilty and things are going to go different. No, laws are well structured in that regard. So I don't think that Donald Trump found guilty will allow him to continue his campaign.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. EKOMY. We've come to the end of today's program. I'm glad to have you here and hope to have you again.
It's always a pleasure.
Okay.
I should be the one to thank you for this TV program that I love what you do and the good job you're all doing here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, we have come to the end of this show. Dear viewers, you've been watching the guests on Gabon 24, who were with Dr. JOLLYMET EKOMY, as I said before, a lecturer and American civilization expert. We discussed the trial of Donald Trump and its aftermath. Don't forget, life is only what you make it. Goodbye.